a lot of controversy surrounding the Florida defensive tackle rookie that was drafted by, I think it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, the last name's Watson. If you know who I'm talking about, you know what I mean. Anyway, he was drafted, and then when he got to um, summer camp this year, he couldn't pass the team's physical conditioning. So then they actually eventually just got rid of him off the roster. And this guy's a colossal con, right? He's like 6'6". I don't know, 364, 65 pounds or something. He's massive, right? And but anyway, I think people look at this in the wrong light. And why he became such a breaking news today is the same team that cut him re-signed him all of a sudden. And I think personally, I just think people look at this the wrong way. Like, can the kid play or not, regardless of his weight? This, by the way, is coming from me, who lived in the '90s and early 2000s when you had big defensive tackles like can't think of his first name, but his last name was Brown. You had Detroit had one, Sean something or other, big ass dude that was well over 300 pounds. You had oh my god, you had Brown. Oh, you also had that defensive tackle for the Chargers for years, Jamal Williams, another dude really big, well over 300 pounds. And uh, uh, then in Tennessee for years you had I think their last names were Hendersons, but God, none of them are playing anymore. It's so many years I don't remember. But these guys were like 6'6", 6'7", massive long arms, well over 300 pounds. They were so damn tall that the quarterbacks usually couldn't even see over the top of the line. So when the quarterback would snap the ball, they'd have to get, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards back behind everyone just to throw the ball over the middle. Because oftentimes these guys would just put their hands in the air and knock the ball down. But all these guys, when they weren't injured and they were healthy, they all had the same thing in common. Nobody ran the ball against them. No one. And even now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, right, for years and years, Pittsburgh and the Ravens, both teams had a massive defensive tackle and eventually defensive ends. They weren't there for the pass rush. They were there to stop the run. And I just cannot for the life of me think of their names. I think one guy had to start with an H, like Hidatia or something like that. I don't even remember the guy's name anymore. But these were big dudes. And quite frankly, if you think about Jamal Williams and some of these real big dudes like the Sean guy that used to play for the Lions, I honestly don't think their top weight was too far away from this Watson guy, the one that the team soured on for some reason. Matter of fact, there was a guy even in the early 2000s, a few years ago. I think his name was Treadell Sands. He played for the Raiders, and this dude was huge. He was like 360, 340, 350. He's a mastodon, man. He didn't have any type of endurance, so he only played maybe 2 downs per snap. But when he was in the game, the stats just bared it on paper. Damn near no one could run against him. I mean, I guess what I'm saying, when you're that effing big, I'm not expecting you to run sideline to sideline. I mean, that's what I pay my linebackers to do. My linebackers are supposed to go sideline to sideline and eat up those running backs. That's what they get paid to do. If you're a big mofo sitting in the middle, 400 pounds, and you can take out 3 offensive linemen and just basically close the center up, yeah, those teams are not going to be bouncing it to the outside and doing shit against you. So once again, I think the Watson thing has been turned into a nothing burger. By the way, in the NFL, we only have 4 downs anyway. And if you're doing anything worth your weight in gold, the 4th down should always be a punt. It shouldn't be, oh shit, I'm going for it on 4th down. It should be, I'm out. So what I'm saying is, if the guy is in the game on down 1 and 2, and he's only good for 2 snaps per 4 downs the entire game, and you bring him in on the 1st and 2nd, or the 1st and 3rd, or whatever combination you want to do, me personally, I think I would just bring him in on the 1st and 2nd, because on the 3rd down, I think I'd want a pass rush. So you just sub him out. Not a big deal. Once again, when Trudell Sands, they always, and I'm sure this guy's fallen into the same category, but they were always mad at him there because they claimed he just had no endurance. But there again, go back to those games when Trudell Sands was in the game. And matter of fact, I don't even know if you can find some stats on this or not anymore, but no one could run against him. And I always say, as a defensive guy, I like defense. And I'm not a genius by any means, but I always like defense. To me, defense is just fun. It's way funner than offense. Like, I always say, as a defensive-minded guy, it always starts on the line, and it dictates the run. My first line of defense, per se, is the line. And that line is a fence to keep a runner from breaking through and making it easier for wide receivers and quarterbacks. That's my mind. Because I think, personally, I've always thought this, unless somebody just comes out and they're passing like 70 plays a game against you or something. I mean, it's a little different, but I've always said, to me, the key to just having a crushing, hulking D is the team that can just take your run away, because you just become one-dimensional. And if you could take the run away with just 4 guys on the line, and the linebackers are little to zero involved in the game, well, then you're only a one-dimensional team at that point. And if you have a really shitty quarterback, you know how hard passing for the entire 4 quarters is? It's very difficult. And because I can take your runaway with just 4 guys, generally speaking, I suppose you could always load up it and try to do that. But once again, if I can do it with just 4 guys, I can all suddenly drop a 5 guy or a 6 guy into the backfield and make the passing lanes that much more difficult to pass. So I've always thought run stop first, everything else falls into place. That's always been my mindset. I don't think this Watson kid, I don't know shit about him from Florida, but if you made it to the NFL and even got on anyone's radar, I suppose you probably had a stellar college career of defensive tackle. And I just think that regardless of, he didn't pass our conditioning on the field and blah, blah, regardless of all that shit, if the guy could play and he even made it this far, he probably should be on the field when you're a mastodon who's probably going to eat the center up and no one's going to be running shit against you. And why did the Buccaneers care about this? Well, yeah, because they're playing against Philadelphia and they got Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts out there. So once again, make it easier on yourself. Take the center away. But once again, the guy's only a rookie anyway, and he's already not been playing for 3 weeks, a valuable time he could have been developing as a player. So anyway, I think it's a nothing but burger. Beyond this season, I hope teams really give him a chance regardless of his weight, because when you're 6'6" and 70 pounds, a 270-pound offensive lineman isn't going to do shit against you. That's my thought. Bye.